Welcome viewers to this session of today. We want to tackle the second chapter of the Class 8 syllabus, and the second chapter comprises of three things. It contains fractions, after fractions we will move to decimals, and lastly percentages. So the three forms the basis of our second chapter. For the first thing we are going to do, we are going to start with the fractions. We will break them after fractions. When fractions are done, we will go to decimal, and then we will finish by percentages. So in fractions, we need to first understand what a fraction is. We can say that a fraction is a part of a whole. A fraction is a part of a whole. Some of you may complain that the statement is not complete. In this whole, we have many things that can be whole. You can have a loaf of bread, that is a whole thing. You can have meter rule, that is also a whole. But when you take just a part of it, like when we have a bar, this way, this bar, we can say it is a whole. But when I now take this part, the shaded part, this one now becomes a fraction. So when we say a fraction is a part of a whole, it can be anything that is complete, that is whole. No, we are not required to specify what that whole is. A fraction always has two parts. When you have a fraction, you will be able to identify these two parts. Number one is the upper part. Upper part of a fraction is called the numerator. And then number two, we have the lower part. This lower part is called the denominator. So when I speak of a fraction, I will have this thing here. I will have numerator over denominator. That is now what a fraction is. When we have numerator over denominator, that is what we call a fraction. But there are different types of fractions, so we will check on types of fraction. Number one type of a fraction is what we call proper fraction. In a proper fraction, we find that the numerator is a number which is less than the denominator. An example, we can have a quarter. A quarter is 1/4. The numerator is 1, the denominator is 4. We can see that 1 is less than 4. So when you have this case, we say it is a proper fraction. Another example can be 2/3. 2 is less than 3. That one gives us a proper fraction. Number 2 is an improper fraction. Now, improper fraction becomes the opposite of proper. Improper is where now the numerator is bigger than the denominator. We can have 9/5. 9 is greater than 5. So when the numerator here is greater than the denominator, we say it is an improper fraction. Another example, I can take this and reverse it. We saw that I have 3/2. 3 is greater than 2, and yet that 3 is the numerator. So when the numerator is greater than the denominator, we have improper fraction. The third type of a fraction is called mixed fraction. Mixed fraction has two things, or it has two parts. Number one is a whole number. You now understand what a whole number is because that is what we did previously. Then we have fraction part of it. So we will have a whole number like 1, and let's say 2 over 5. This one is whole number part and this one is the fraction part. So a mixed fraction is made up of a whole number and a fraction. Also, mixed fractions can be written as improper fraction. This is how we do it. You will take the denominator 5 times the whole number 1. Then this one, the product there, you add to the numerator of the fraction part, that is 2. Then all of it is over the denominator, that is 5. So 5 times 1 is 5. 5 plus 2 will be 7 over 5. This one is improper fraction. Yet that improper fraction can also be written as mixed fraction. The fourth type of fraction, we call it equivalent fraction. Equivalent fraction can only be gotten when we multiply or divide both numerator and the denominator by a number. We've seen these types. So when we talk of equivalent fraction, we can take a proper, improper, or mixed fraction, then multiply the numerator and the denominator, of which when we use a mixed fraction, we will take it there first. Then we multiply the numerator and the denominator by a number, or we divide the numerator and the denominator by a number. When we have a case of this, let me use 2 over 3. And I want to get equivalent fraction. In that case, I'll decide to multiply the numerator by a number, let me say 6, and the same number I multiply the denominator again, so that I will have 12 over 18. So 12 over 18 is an equivalent fraction of 2 over 3. We are multiplying the fraction we have, both the numerator and the denominator, by a number so that we get a bigger number. When you have 24 over 40, you can decide to get equivalent fraction of this by now dividing. We can divide by 6. By 6. No, 6 won't divide 40, so I can decide to use 8. This is going to give me 3 over 5. We can see that 3 over 5 is an equivalent fraction of 24 over 40 through division to give us that. This one was through multiplication, so that 12 over 18 is an equivalent fraction of 2 over 3. Up to there, we are through with the types of fractions. Whatever we are going to do next is simplifying fractions. Simplifying fractions. What is this simplifying fraction? Or when do we say we are simplifying a fraction? This is what we are doing next. Simplifying fraction. When we simplify a fraction, we are reducing it to a smaller value. We can simplify by dividing the numerator and denominator by a number, so that the resulting figure we are having is one which is smaller. A case is simplify. Simplify 36 over 48. Simplify 36 over 48. We have 36 over 48 as our fraction. But we can decide to take this one to a smaller value. The process by which we are taking this to a smaller value is by dividing the numerator and the numerator by a number. Now when we do that, we are simplifying the fraction. In this case, we can decide to divide both sides by 12. 36 divided by 12 is going to give us 3. And 48 divided by 12 is going to give us. So we've reduced 36 over 48 to 3 over 4. This one is now the simplified form of whatever we had before. Another example, reduce 75 over 375 to its simplest form. Believe me, this simplest form must be a number that is smaller than whatever we are given here. So when we now decide to simplify this, some people may decide to go through steps by checking the divisors, but yet there is 75. The numerator is a divisor that can divide both sides. So we will go for 75. We will have 75 over 375 divided by 75 on both sides. 75 divided by 75 is going to give us 1. Then 375 divided by 75 is going to give us 5. So the simplest form of the fraction 75 over 375 is 1 over 5. We are simplifying 75 over 375 to get 1 over 5. This is what we are now call simplification. In other cases, you can be given this. Find the value of the following, of x in the following question. Find the value of x in the following question. You are given x over 12 to be equal to 45 over 108. We've done equivalent fractions, and equivalent fraction was only calculated by either multiplying or dividing the numerator and the denominator by a number. So when you are given x over 12 to be equal to 45 over 108, then there must be a factor they have used to multiply both sides so that they arrive here. We can take this one and this, 12 and 108, so that we get the factor which they used to multiply. We will have 108 divided by 12. The answer we are getting there is 9. So it means they had x times 9 over 12 times 9 to give us 45 over 108, because the factor you are using must multiply both the numerator and the denominator. So in this case it is 9. Yet 9 is multiplied by x to get 45. What is the value of x here? That is now what we are supposed to do. We will have 9x, because 9 times x is 9x, to be equal to 45. Then we divide both sides by 9 to get x, so that we are left with x there. 45 divided by 9 is 5. So the value of x in this question was 5. 5 times 9 is going to give us 45, and 12 times 9 is going to give us 108. Then another way in which you can simplify, you can be given this value here. We have 33 and a third to be written in improper form, or the improper fraction. We have 33 and a third to be written as improper fraction. I said that what we do, we take the denominator multiply by the whole number, then add the numerator. All of it is above the or over the denominator. We will have 3, the denominator, times the whole number, which is 33. Then to that we add 1, which is the numerator. Then all of it is over 3. So 3 times 33 is going to give us 99. Then 99 plus 1 is 100. 100 is over 3. Now this one is the improper form of 33 and a third. Thank you very much for this session, and please always subscribe to our channel so that you may support us in the endeavor of teaching students while they are at home. Thank you very much for now.